few hours, who is ready for prime time? We're ready for prime time. Welcome to NFL Live. Remember, we are a 2-hour show on Mondays. The Wave is here with Marcus Spears. Mina Kimes, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Your birthday with us. Ryan Clark, Peter Schrager, Dan Orlovsky's in the car somewhere trying to get here, so he will show up.
Look, it's two things that reassure me we back. Okay.
What?
I'm so excited.
He's so excited.
Mina got her arms out today. She been in the weight room. And Peter and RC, y'all know how it is. I put that suit on this morning. That button wasn't tight.
Let's go. Hey, we got to keep our sugar count down.
He said under 30 grams a day. Is that right?
That's it, baby. That's it.
Listen, we're so glad that we're here to be family together. And let's get back to Sunday Night Football, because this game, my word, maybe an early nomination for the best game of the year. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, just a couple MVPs, casually getting ready to go to open the season for them. Late third quarter is where we pick it up. Ravens up 27-19. Lamar looking deep for DeAndre Hopkins, a sensational catch, RC.
Yes, D-Hop can do this. He can add that one big play for game. Tight coverage. We all know he has those 3X hands in those gloves. Big time catch. Buffalo fans mad, hitting folks in the helmet.
Early fourth quarter, the Bills go down 34-19. Everyone's thinking, all right, maybe they're out of this one. Second and goal. Allen fakes, keeps it, and scores because Swagoo, that's just what he can do. The Bills cut the lead to 9.
That's what he does. You give him a little movement. He reads it, locates where his area is on the field to take off, scores a TD.
And then ensuing Ravens drive, Derrick Henry answers right back. 46-yard touchdown. He's rumbling down the field. Ravens now up 40-5.
I want to touch it.
Okay, 4 minutes to play. Same score, 4th and 2 from the 11. You're going to see Allen looking. He's firing one for Dalton Knox. It's tipped. Keon Coleman, though, Mina, comes up with an unreal grab. You'll see it twice here.
Keon Coleman was huge in this game. Stepped up as the #1 receiver Buffalo's drafted.
Bills down 40-32. So, woo, you hear that wind whipping, the Windy City.
Windy City, nice.
Next Ravens drive. Henry, he gets it once again, but Peter, this is where Ed Oliver had other plans.
Ed Oliver was amazing last night, a former first-round pick. Derrick Henry had the perfect game until this play. An unfortunate turn of events for Baltimore.
Here's the next play. Allen finding Jackson Hawes for 29.
Of course.
He used all of his playmaking.
Hey, listen, when your third tight end is catching touchdowns, you're having a day. Now Josh Allen goes over the top, scores a touchdown.
Bills failed to complete the 2-point conversion, trailing 40-38. Next Ravens drive, 3rd and 9. Lamar completes a pass to Hopkins short of the first down. Ravens decide to punt it back to the Bills instead of going for it on do it. We'll dive into that later in the show. Next, Bills drive, 50 seconds left. Allen deep left side for Joshua Palmer. Bills marching down the field trying to get in field goal range. Next play, Allen pitch and catch to Coleman. He takes him to the 9, so the Bills are going to have a shot. This is when you're looking at the TV, or maybe you're in the stadium and you're like, how in the world are they able to do this? So Matt Prater, who just joined the team,
fresh off a red eye. Fresh off a red eye.
Middle, the Bills pull off an incredible comeback, and Josh Allen was not happy about some fans that left.
There's just no quitting this team. Welcome to Buffalo. I mean, what a vet, kicking the game-winning field goal in a tough, weird situation you don't see too often. He came in prepared, ready to go. Our team didn't quit. I mean, I think there's people that left the stadium. That's okay. We'll be fine, but have some faith next time.
God. Oh, Josh Allen had a fourth quarter for the history books, piling up over 250 passing yards and 3 touchdowns between his arm and legs. He's the first player to do that since Big Ben in 2010. Allen's performance led the Bills to their first 15-point fourth quarter comeback since 1967, when the team was still a member of the AFL. I mean, we sit here and say, how in the world did they pull this off? But RC, maybe we should expect things like this from the MVP Josh Allen. How specifically did he do?
I mean, to be honest, though, you don't expect things like this. You don't expect to be down 15 points with 8 minutes left to go in the game against the Baltimore Ravens with an absolute stacked defense and be able to pull this off. But Josh Allen was his best in the most important moments. He showed you how he can use his legs, create plays, get some extra plays, and sometimes he was lucky more than he was good. But that's what's important when you have a player like that, the belief that he instills in your team. And it's like MMA fighters or boxers, right? They say when you become a champion, you believe 30% more. Now that Josh Allen has won that MVP, he has that hardware at his house. Everyone in that building understands if you give him a chance, you have a time and an opportunity to win.
Yeah, I spoke to sources in Buffalo in the offseason and said, well, who's the new #1? Because if Matt Collins is gone and he was the guy who got all those touchdowns, is it Khalil Shakir? They said, guess what? We feel really comfortable with Keon Coleman in his second year, Khalil Shakir, and the free agent Josh Palmer. But you know who else stepped up? Dalton Kincaid, who is finally healthy. So to RC's point, Josh Allen was unconscious in these final 3 minutes, but every one of these guys stepped up when they had to as well. And these are not household names. You're not drafting them in your fantasy league in the first 3 rounds. And yet each one of them made a big play when it mattered. And of course, James Cook at running back brought it as well. This offense can go at any time, and they can go at 100 miles per hour, and they did when they needed it most. Josh Allen played like a man on a mission, and his players and his teammates were there to follow him.
Yeah, the offense is a huge part of this, obviously. But, Mina, it felt like the defense for the Bills figured something out in the fourth quarter. What did you see?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you and say that they played well for most of the game. The Ravens were eating their lunch on offense. But you mentioned his name earlier, Peter. Ed Oliver, I thought, was a superstar and honestly made the pivotal play in the game, obviously, with the strip sack of Derrick Henry. But throughout the game, you really saw a lot of the attributes you've seen from him, certainly in college, that made him first-round pick. He has such a quick first step, and he plays with such a low pad level. He's able to get penetration and get TFLs and also pressures in a way that I don't think anyone else on this Bills defensive line quite can. And he was so clutch for them, again, versus both the pass and the run. It wasn't just the strip sack. He had a few TFLs that were really key for Buffalo. They would not have won this game without him.
There were also times in that game, Marcus, where Ed Oliver was the only player on Buffalo's team making a play.
Well, the interior, you know, I've been saying that for years, man. When those guys can start affecting the game, whether in the pass or the run game, you can change the complexion of it. The other thing was, too, like I'm so happy about the fumble that Ed Oliver had. Y'all know why at the end of the show. Y'all know what today is.
Hey.
More importantly, the possession after the fumble, right? When Baltimore got the ball back.
Yeah.
To get 3 stops and get your offense the ball back. Now, on the other flip side, what Todd Monken conservative, or you need to go get a first down. Regardless of that, you got to go get stops to put the ball back in Josh Allen's hands. I thought they did a tremendous job. They stacked the box. Obviously, there could have been some vulnerability there, but they made a decision, and they knew that Baltimore was going to try to churn this clock out, and they were able to go stop them on 3 straight plays, and they didn't go for fourth quarter, so they bad. I mean, the fourth down. So
but isn't that the other thing, too, though? The Buffalo Bills played in the fourth quarter like they had an MVP. If you're the Baltimore Ravens, you have a 2-time MVP, could have very well been a 3-time MVP last year, and you don't unleash him to go get a first down to seal the game. To me, they lost some of this as much as Buffalo won it.
The Ravens' win probability was as high as 99.1% according to ESPN Analytics. And by the way, that was later in the game. We're going to be on this game all show long. Dan Orlovsky does join us. He has a film breakdown of Josh Allen's performance that you don't want to miss. Man, I'm glad football's back. All right, let's get to some top stories with Adam Schefter joining us now. Some major injury news here in week 1. Let's start in San Francisco. The latest on Juwan Jennings and George Kittle. Hey, Adam.
Hello, Laura. Juwan Jennings and George Kittle both today, and the 49ers just this afternoon signed Kendrick Bourne as they await the results of Juwan Jennings' MRI. George Kittle left the game with a hamstring injury, did not come back. That usually means a player is going to miss some time if he leaves and doesn't return from a hamstring injury. Jennings is dealing with a shoulder injury, but the 49ers now have some insurance in Kendrick Bourne, who could be ready to play as soon as Sunday for the 49ers. Meanwhile, another tight end injured yesterday. Brock Bowers went out of the game against the New England Patriots, did not come back. He said after the game he did not believe the injury to be serious. They're putting him through some tests, but again, Bowers did not sound overly concerned that he would miss any type of time or significant time. And the Ingram suffered a calf injury yesterday, hobbled off, was taken to the locker room, did not come back to the game. He's an immensely talented player who's missed some time in the past with injuries, now could miss a little bit of time. Brock was putting him through the tests, and we'll see how that calf comes back. But not great that he left yesterday from that win over Tennessee, Laura.
Adam joins us throughout the show. We're with you for 2 hours. We're under 5 hours to Monday Night Football kicking off, and Adam will have updates on our game, Bears and Vikings, coming up. But back to Sunday, Steelers versus Jets. This is one that you just wondered about the drama, the layers of it, right? Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers taking on the New York Jets. The fans were booing Rodgers. Pick it up in the fourth quarter, though. Steelers trailing 26-17. Rodgers finding a wide open Jaylen Warren for 6. Steelers trail by 2. Ensuing kickoff, Xavier Gipson gets stripped by Kenneth Gainwell. The Steelers recover it, so huge play there. And the Steelers, an opportunity to take advantage of great field position. So 2 plays later, Rodgers right here hitting a wide open Calvin Austin RC for the score.
Sean McVay lined up in the C gap, got Calvin Austin into the end zone, and here Justin Fields, who was great with his legs the entire day, got outside on the boot.
The Jets failed the 2-point conversion, but lead by 1. So now, under 3 minutes to go, Rodgers connected with DK Metcalf, making the juggling catch. Mina, we were excited to see that connection play out.
Yeah, this was a little bit of luck because his tips to his teammate, then back to him. But I did think DK Metcalf was excellent today, instrumental in getting yards after the catch.
Peter, how about Chris Boswell? 60-yarder.
He's got his own contract stuff going on. You know what? I'm going to hit a 60-yarder to put this game away on the road. Yes, Chris
Rodgers
Boswell, awesome.
Fired up for the lead. Last chance for the Jets. Field looking.
Wow.
That's still a football.
Oh, here's more for
Welcome,
Rodgers.
Jayden.
I know when that happens, you're going nuts, right?
You spoke about the meeting with Aaron Glenn on McAfee a few months ago. Beating him, is there significance in that, since he basically told you to your face that he didn't think you were right for that team?
Yes, that's what he did.
So there's significance in beating him for you?
I was happy to beat everybody associated with the Jets.
He was trying to keep the little smile away there at the end. It kind of snuck out, though. Mina, what did you make of the Steelers' scheme for Rodgers, though?
Yeah, I thought it was excellent because last year the Steelers' offense with Russell Wilson was really boom or bust. Big plays, but a lot of 3-and-outs. What you saw here with Aaron Rodgers was just a very efficient passing attack. He was not pushing the ball downfield very much, very low average at the target. But when he was utilizing quick game, 2.5 seconds or less, they had a 53% first down rate, which was the best in the entire NFL. What that tells me is that Arthur Smith did a good job of getting his playmakers in space.
Yeah.
Those receivers did a good job of getting yards after the catch. And then Rodgers was accurate setting them up to get yards after the catch. That is a formula that can win the New York Jets. I'd like to see him get a little bit better at running the football. I think that's something that has to improve. But this passing game with him as the point guard in the offense, it works.
The subtle pocket movement for me, the built-in movement from Arthur Smith, I think, one, to help the protection early in that game. You saw Quentin Williams get to Aaron Rodgers super early, but I think that's going to tremendously not only help Aaron, but help this O-line. Y'all remember I talked about it. I was like, I want to see if Aaron Rodgers can get out of harm's way. And you see Arthur Smith build like these little short
half rolls,
these little short half rolls to get him outside of the pocket. And to your point, RC, you said it, to accentuate the arm that's still really, really live and throwing from all of those different angles. But you could see the flow of this offense. You could see Arthur Smith's brain when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to stand him in the center of the pocket a lot. I want to give people things to look at. I want different types of play action where he still can get a half roll after that. I thought it was a phenomenal job by the OC.
They got them with that boot with Calvin Austin twice.
Twice.
I was watching the air for a guy. It was a great play call.
Yeah, it's just great, and we've seen it from Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp with Sean McVay and the Rams. But what I love is Omar Khan should be the happiest man in Pittsburgh right now, the general manager of the Pittsburgh Steelers, because not only was it Aaron Rodgers, someone you waited for in free agency, but look at all the trades you made. Let's think about DK Metcalf here. You're going to see him on the screen. Ben Skoranek gets out in front of him. Watch the yards after the catch. This is a defensive end running 4-3 down the football field. And Jonnu Smith, who is essentially the number 2 receiver here, you're going to see him on a jet sweep, even though it's a pass. But watch him get to the corner here. You see the seal by Jalen Warren, and now we're getting to the pylon. And then Jalen Ramsey, the big-time trade that came over from the from the Miami Dolphins late in the training camp. You're going to see with his eyes back into the field. He's playing a cover 2 corner. Now he breaks on the football, a big hit. When you go out and you trade for these Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber players, you want to see it pay dividends. And to have each of those men go out and contribute the way they did, along with Aaron Rodgers playing the best ball we've seen since Green Bay, it was a huge, uncharacteristic offseason for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
RC's nailing it, because this is one of those deals where it can go one of two ways. This could be Steve Nash and Dwight Howard in a Lakers uniform. Are we having fun yet? Like the Sports Illustrated cover. Or it could be what the Rams did a couple years ago when they brought in Odell and they brought in Von Miller. It looks like the latter, and I feel like, to your point, Omar Khan took a lot of heat waiting for Rodgers, and Omar Khan took a lot of heat saying, you know what, we're going to go for Jalen Ramsey. We're going to make this trade. Each one of those guys who came in as new free agent acquisitions or as signings played excellent yesterday, and those new additions got them to win.
You guys, Rodgers turned back the clocks a little bit. 3 passing touchdowns from outside the pocket? What is that? Okay, maybe a sign. We're just getting started on NFL Live. We got a lot more coming your way, and so glad you're with us today. Remember, we are with you until 5 p.m. And turns out that on the Vikings sideline tonight, Lise, can't wait to see you out there. And there we go. What up? The funny thing is, Lisa's not that far from us, so like
I
you could have
know.
heard it. You didn't have to.
You didn't have to yell.
That right. We do love you, Lisa. Let's talk about J.J. McCarthy because he's making his debut in the NFL in a place he's very familiar with. What was it like when you talked to him over the weekend? How was he?
Well, just think about this, guys. The last time J.J. McCarthy played in a game that meant something, 20 months ago when Michigan won the national championship. That was in January of 2024. So you can only imagine how excited this kid must be for this season opener. He told us he was always going to be amped up regardless of where his first game back was played. But then you add in this setting, Soldier Field, the fact that he grew up a Chicago Bears fan just 30 minutes away from this stadium. And this NFL debut, it suddenly feels like a Hollywood movie, right? JJ said he's sure there will be a lot of emotions, but he plans to control those emotions by just focusing on being present, to focus on his breathing. And we already know from his college career that meditation is a big part of his game day routine. Now, McCarthy said tonight will be about feet and eyes, about attacking every play he gets on the headset, but also not trying to win the game on every snap. JJ said that the knee injury that cost him his rookie season is now completely in the rear view. He's 100% healthy, ready to go. His entire family is going to be in the stands cheering him on. Mom Megan, Dad Jim, who took him to his very first NFL game here at Soldier Field when JJ was 4 years old. Adorable. Jim McCarthy told me his son was just born to play football, and they all cannot wait to watch him play tonight. Just imagine what that family is feeling right now. They've got to just be so proud.
You just gave me chills, Lisa, just thinking about it from the parents' perspective. I love it. We'll see you tonight on the Vikings sideline. Let's stay on Monday Night Football as we build out a play sheet presented by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. And for that, we welcome in Peter Strickland. He's going to be with us, by the way, every Monday on our show, and we're excited for that. Let's start, Peter, with Rome Odunze. Okay, over under 4.5 receptions for the Bears wideout.
Over. I think they're going to see offense tonight. That's been the theme of the weekend, obviously, when you see the Bills-Ravens game, and even the Jets-Steelers. And I think two offensive coaches going at it today. I think you're going to get Rome Odunze very heavily involved in that Bears offense.
Okay, let's stay on Bears receivers. Over under 59.5 receiving yards for DJ Moore.
Shocker. Over. I think Caleb's throwing the ball tonight. I don't think they're coming out here to be conservative and say, let's just eke out a victory. They're going to throw the ball, and Ben Johnson is going to give Caleb the opportunity to do that. If that's the case, DJ Moore is going to catch more than 60 yards.
How about TJ Hawkinson? Over under 4.5 receptions for the Vikings tight end.
Oh, I forgot that Kevin O'Connell's an offensive coordinator and has an offensive line, too. I only heard about Ben Johnson the last 2 months. Yes, Hawkinson is going to be the guy, and I think in a lot of ways he might be a safety valve as well to J.J. McCarthy, who's going to be in his first NFL start out there tonight.
I love it. If all of Peter's picks hit, by the way, a $10 bet wins you just under $85.
Come on.
That's a big payout. Football is back, and right now, new ESPN Bet customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 bet. Score more from the game with Sportsbook for sports fans. Sign up with promo code LIVE to get started today. All right, guess who made it? Dan's here. Dan, I don't know. Do we have video of this of Dan running?
You didn't clap.
Because Dan, it's the first day of school and you didn't show up.
Yeah, I'm getting jumped in the alley.
I can't believe you.
Man,
Like, this is Dan arriving
we was
a
fighting.
few moments ago.
I cannot believe you guys are jumping me.
All right, we're just giving you
Hey,
11
man, glad you
minutes
made it,
late.
bro. Good to see you, big dog.
We're glad you made it.
No
Chicago traffic was no joke
cap.
for Dan. All right.
6 or 7 minutes late.
Okay, well, now we're really late because we're talking about you being late. So let's carry on here. Read and react. Glad you're here, Dan. Lots of new faces in new places. You got to finally see him in week 1 action. Deebo Samuel, a big ad for the Commanders. 7 catches for 77 yards in the air. Deebo caught up with our Dan Graziano after the game.
That set us back a little bit. We're just going to get to work this week. We know we got a good, quick turnaround, so we're just going to get to work.
Yeah, what's the key there? Quick turnaround Thursday night game in Green Bay. How do you get reset real fast?
I mean, for me and the rest of the team, you just got to get as healthy as you can get for Thursday night.
Looked like you were having fun out there, were you?
Definitely was having fun, for sure.
Dan, what do you make of Deebo's debut?
I saw impact. I saw the way that he was used in San Francisco to help others. Sometimes it was motion, and then you saw Jayden Daniels on the outside of some of those zone runs. Sometimes it's that spinner stuff where he gets back around behind the quarterback, and then they can run some of their spinner run game. We saw the reverse. Laura, you mentioned he had 77 yards, but 44 of those came after he touched the football. It was vintage Deebo, and Washington gets that version. That's a massive upgrade for their offense.
Yeah. Okay. Russell Wilson threw for only 168 yards and never found the end zone in his Giants debut. That's a good word, Peter. After being non-committal about his Week 2 quarterback after the game, head coach Brian Daboll came with a definitive answer today.
Do you intend to start Russell Wilson this week?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Was that ever?
I mean, and after a game, it's an emotional game. It's a tough game. Didn't play particularly well, I would say, collectively, but in terms of making any of those decisions, really at any position or schematic changes, I'd like to, do it with a clear head and watch the tape. And again, like I said yesterday, that game just doesn't fall on Russell Wilson.
You okay with that decision, Marcus?
No, because if they keep happening like that, it's going to fall on you, BB. And I know him. I love Brian Daboll. That's my guy. But it's time to go with Jackson Dart. I talked about that on Get Up with Dan a few weeks ago. They should have started him. This is one of those situations where we obviously understand how you're behind the 8 ball with a rookie quarterback, and we don't know what he's going to be and what the offensive line is. We've seen it go in the right direction. We've seen it go in the wrong direction. Let me tell you what direction it ain't going with Russell Wilson. For you to have success and try to keep this job and push this team forward, you saw the dejection on the sideline. You understand what sometimes putting a player in the game does for the psyche of your team. And believe it or not, my people, the psyche of your team actually manifests itself on the football field.
Yeah.
So hopefully they get to this kid as soon as possible and send a jolt through this locker room.
Yeah, a dart, a jolt, something like that. All right, hey, here's the other thing. Giants at Cowboys this coming week. The Cowboys.
Start Russ.
They probably. There we go. All right, now listen, that's all you need to know at home. The Cowboys fan says to start Russ. Oh, baby. Still to come on NFL Live. So many great games. We're going to go to the Lions and the Packers. Facing off in Green Bay. This means, of course, Micah Parsons making his Packers debut. Picking it up in the second quarter. Packers up 10-3. 1st and 10 at their own 35. Jordan Love throws it deep up the middle to Romeo Doubs, Dan.
I love the play-action pass, early downs, and Doubs on that post. The safety cuts the crosser. It's a great throw by Jordan Love. They come back the very next play and get that man-beating concept where the number 3 receiver, Reed, runs the wheel off the picket. It's an easy touchdown.
Lambeau Leap and the Packers go up 17-3. Under 2 minutes to go in the half. Can the Lions get anything going here? Goff's pass intercepted by Evan Williams. Parsons there to pressure Goff. This is where Cowboys fans, Jerry Jones, look away. I don't know, maybe you didn't see.
Yeah, it was.
Probably saw.
It was quick.
Packers lead 17-3 going into halftime. Just over 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Lions down 27-6, 2nd and 10 at their own 35, and Parsons rushes, chases Goff down for his first sack as a Packer. He wanted that one pretty bad. All right, here's Micah Parsons after the game on his first time in Green Bay.
I'm telling you, these last 6 months was super draining, super toxic for everyone. And it's something that, I don't think no player should have to go through. I think players' fate should be decided earlier. I think the fact that I was traded a week before the season, it was really outrageous and rough. The trade is done. We got to win. We're 1-0. Now I'm around some really great guys, really great organization, really great fan base, and a really great football team. So now we can put all the nonsense beside.
Let's talk about Micah's debut, RC. What does the tape show you?
Well, the tape shows me that he was impactful beyond the numbers. And obviously you can hear it in the stadium. Rashawn Gary talked about how excited the whole team was to have him in the locker room. But when you watch this tape, he was a part of so many big plays. Here, we saw the Evan Williams interception, but it was Micah's rush on Penei Sewell. He goes up the field and gets inside right away. He's going to put pressure into the face of Jared Goff. Jared gets it out of his hands. Great catch by Evan Williams. Oh, you know why the Cowboys got better? Because they can stop the run. Well, maybe Micah Parsons here taking on a chip, standing up Penei Sewell, one of the best offensive tackles in all of football, and putting him on his butt for the tackle for loss. You want to talk about putting your foot in the ground, keeping the edge, standing and getting out, putting someone on the ground, and the physicality to continue to hustle to the ball is contagious. And if you ever watch TV, National Geographic, and you've seen the lion talking his prey, sometimes it's a big gazelle, sometimes it's a giraffe, sometimes it's a zebra, and sometimes it's a golfer. Jared Goff gets hawked down, and now we see Micah Parsons pointing into the crowd. when you have this sort of excitement, this sort of energy, this sort of athleticism that you add to a defense, I believe it helps everyone get infinitely better. And we saw that yesterday from Jeff Hafley and that entire defensive crew.
You said one word there that stood out to tape, or to me on tape, was contagious. When I watched the defense run to the football yesterday, it really felt like I was watching the Eagles defense of last year.
Wow.
That was like a calling card for the Eagles. It was always like, why do they run to the ball and tackle better than everybody? And you would watch the end of the play and there'd be 6, 7, 8 jerseys at the football. And it felt that way against Green Bay. And I agree with RC, like the impact was bigger than just the stat line. Look at the amount of people for the Packers defense that is running to the football in comparison to the jerseys of the Detroit Lions. The color difference is insane. And I think the juice, the expectation, the vibe, we've got like one of those game changer dudes on our team. Like everybody fly to the football. It's also like he's an eraser. Hey, Jordan Love, you throw the pick, he'll erase it. Like I just believe that defense has a new level now.
And he only played 29 snaps. This defensive effort from the Packers, I would argue, is as impressive an effort yesterday from any unit in football. And Hafley's team, they had 9 tackles for a loss. They had 4 sacks. Jahmyr Gibbs averaged 2.1 yards per carry. Jahmyr Gibbs, one of the most dynamic players in the sport. They tried getting him going. He had 10 catches. And how many yards? He had 30. This was an absolute team effort on the defensive side of the ball. And Parsons brings the energy and might not have filled up the stat sheet, but was all over the field. But I like the guys like, Packers fans say Lucas Van Ness is a bust. Lucas Van Ness was awesome.
They moved him inside yesterday.
Quay Walker's a bust. He was awesome yesterday. Cooper, RC mentioned Evan Williams, Edgerrin Cooper. These guys were all over the field. And when you get all 11 players together, that's the Micah Parsons difference. I'm going to elevate everybody's game.
Edgerrin Cooper, I'm telling you.
He's a baller, though.
All pro.
Oh, I agree.
He's 12 tackles.
Unbelievable in this game. I think you saw with Detroit on the flip side what happens when they can't run the ball effectively. This was an offense last year that had the shortest distance to go on third down of any team in the football. Yesterday, they were bottom 10 in terms of third distance to go on third down. Jared Goff was put into obvious drop-back situations where the interior of the offensive line couldn't protect, but it all started with the Packers' run defense. Jerry Jones' favorite thing in football. Good
line.
That's going to be it, because so much of what they do is predicated on having run-pass conflict on every down. If they can't create that on third down because they're put into third and longs, you run into trouble. I think they'll be better running the football against other defenses. I think this is as much about the Packers defense as it is about the Lions, but you're a little bit concerned after this first
I'm very concerned if I'm the Lions. There was one play that you said a word, conflict, where the defense looked to be in conflict to me. I mean, this was an offense in Detroit that always gained advantage schematically. Always. There was so much to look at and pay attention to, and there was easy stuff. Yesterday, everything was difficult. And yes, I agree with Hafley, and you saw a sprinkle of some of the stuff they'll get to. But that Detroit Lions offense scheme-wise looked nothing of what it was in the past couple of years.
Well, I think you also have to point to, as we speak of Jeff Hafley, that Ben Johnson is going to be on this field tonight. Aaron Glenn was at MetLife yesterday. You lose those two coordinators. Is not just what you lose from the standpoint of their mindset and what they understand about the game. It's also an attitude. Dan Campbell is not in those rooms each and every day. And I've seen from both men as head coaches a fire that ignites an entire locker room. You're going to have to get that from Johnny Moe and Kelvin Shepard.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of that from Ben Johnson in his first opportunity as a head coach on this field tonight. Let's go back to Micah Parsons, though, as we bring Adam Schefter back in here. You heard Peter mentioning just the 29 snaps that he played. What is the plan for Micah Parsons going forward, Adam, especially on a short week?
Laura, the plan would be to ramp him up. They were careful with him on Sunday because he hadn't played football at all this summer. There was a back injury. They met with him, and they wanted to be smart with him on Sunday, knowing that there's a full season ahead. But even in a short week, up against a foe that Micah Parsons knows plenty about in the Washington Commanders, you could look for him to be used a little bit more this week against Washington and to try to make the same impact. Meanwhile, we saw the Buffalo Bills beat the Baltimore Ravens last night. And if we look at the Bills' remaining schedule, the odds makers say that the Bills will be favored in their remaining 16 games. Now, we don't know what type of injuries will happen leading into those matchups, but it just goes to show that Buffalo's in a prime position to somehow secure a nice playoff spot. And a player who made some huge plays on Sunday was the Tampa Bay touted rookie Emeka Egbuka, the Buccaneers for Ohio State. 2 touchdowns, continuing what we had heard all summer long, that Emeka Egbuka was maybe one of the stars of their training camp, somebody who made plays on a regular basis. He looked like a miniature Chris Godwin yesterday, and Chris Godwin won't be back for about another month. But with Godwin absent, and even after Godwin gets back, Egbuka is establishing himself as somebody that Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers clearly trust, and someone who clearly produces.
Those Ohio State receivers, I tell you what, we'll get to see the Bucs actually. Now, how about the 49ers versus the Seahawks? Brock Purdy and the Niners on the road in Seattle, under 2 minutes to go. 49ers trail 13-10, 3rd and 3 for the 4. Purdy escapes a sack and rolls right, finding Jake Tonjes in the end zone for the touchdown.
First catch.
Jake Tonjes. Coming into Sunday, 0 career receptions. 49ers take the 17-13 lead. Sam Darnold trying to answer on the next drive. And goodness gracious, what happened here, Mina?
Nick Bosa said, the game is over, my friend.
Yes, I'm Nick Bosa.
The weird thing was, like, his elbow hit the football. It didn't look like he realized that he had lost it. I don't know. It wasn't good. Mina, how was San Francisco able to pull this one out?
It was an up and down game from Brock Purdy. He had the turnover. I thought he hit a beautiful ball to Ricky Pearson on the final, so credit to him there. But I think the biggest difference between these teams were San Francisco was much better on 3rd down, 5th league-wide in paper play. Seattle dead last, only converted 30% of their 3rd downs. And I think you saw what, frankly, was a concern I had going into the season. Outside of Jackson Smith and Jigba, just not enough playmakers on this Seahawks offense. And I think they ran into that against the San Francisco defense, Peter, that I thought did look improved.
It did. Seattle confuses me. They were 3-6 at home last year, Mina, and then they start off the season with a game that the old Seahawks would have won 9 out of 10 times. Like, they had their opportunities. Thought some play calling decisions at the end as far as, aggressive nature and what are we going to be. Yeah, look, they had a 3rd and 7. They go to Cup for 6 yards. You have 4th and 1, and they're like, let's kick a field goal and trust our defense. In the same division, the Rams were home against the Texans, and it was like 3rd and 8, let's go, and McVay gets the completion from Stafford to Nakua. So I feel like Seattle had a million opportunities here, and they just couldn't put them away while San Francisco made the plays when it mattered.
All right, let's continue on with some more highlights. I want to get you guys' thoughts on this game between the Bucs and the Falcons. This was a wild game at the end. We'll get there in a minute, but how about Michael Penix and the Falcons getting ready to go? We picked this up under 3 minutes left in the game here. This is where the action really started. 4th and goal. Falcons down 17-13. Penix pump fake, sees some space at the middle, takes it in himself. The diving touchdown, Mina.
The Space Jam. I didn't think he had it. The replay, and he never touched the ground. Really athletic play by Penix.
Here's Baker Mayfield to Emeka Egbuka, the go-ahead touchdown. Peter, he is just money.
He's awesome. Both players are awesome. Baker was a dog yesterday, and so was Egbuka, but this guy, Penix, did not go away.
Yeah, finding Ray McLeod, who stays in bounds, gets pushed around out at the 50 there, and then the Falcons get in field goal range. Youngway Kuz set up for the 44-yard field goal to tie it. Kuz's kick is no good. It goes wide right. So the Bucs sideline fired up because they win this one 23-20. Baker Mayfield had a great time throwing to the rookie and the vet, seeing a ton of success when targeting Mike Evans and Emeka Egbuka. He averaged nearly 8.5 yards per attempt when throwing their way, a number that would be a career high for Mayfield. However, that number dropped to just 2.7 when targeting the rest of the team. Again, Chris Godwin will be back at some point. But RC, what did you make of the Bucs comeback?
Listen, the thing I learned about the Bucs yesterday is they have a future at the running back position and the wide receiver position. Bucky Irvin was on the ascension throughout the end of last season, and we saw him pick up right where he left off. But to have that level of trust in Emeka Egbuka already from Baker Mayfield is huge. You go back to the first half, Baker Mayfield's first big pass is the dig to Emeka Egbuka. He catches the football, runs it into the end zone. And then now, matched up one-on-one with A.J. Terrell, the #1 corner of the Atlanta Falcons, to say to yourself, I'm going to stand in this pocket, stand in the heat, deliver this ball, and all hands catch for a touchdown. And at the end of the game, you can just see the young playmaker saying, let's go. It's a big-time win for Tampa, and they have a star.
Yeah, my how times change. Look, Baker Mayfield I'm sold on Baker Mayfield. Like, whether it's him putting up prolific numbers or whether him being there at the end. I'm going to the other side, though. I thought Michael Penix was very impressive in this game. His athleticism stood out to me. Obviously, coming out of college, talks about how many injuries he had and all of that, but his legs, his ability to throw out routes, not open to his right side. I thought he was phenomenal. And then to play a divisional game like this and give your team an opportunity to win or either go into overtime, I thought was really impressive from the young fella. And when you look at the Atlanta Falcons, like, we kind of got to judge them and Tampa on the same scale. You didn't walk away from this game saying one of these teams is marketably better than the other. And I thought that had a lot to do with Atlanta's quarterback and the way that he played.
I thought he played amazing. I thought the way he finished around the goal line both times, right? He tried once to the left, didn't get in, and then we watched him get into the end zone. But it was also the way they utilized Bijan Robinson in the pass game, right? Starting early on in the game, the big catch and run, and continuing to get him involved while having Kyle Pitts show up as well. I thought that was huge for this Atlanta Falcons offense. Now it's about getting stops in critical moments and maybe making some field goals, Logan.
Yeah, golly, I mean, you're speaking music to Falcons fans' ears, like actually utilizing Bijan Robinson in the pass game, Kyle Pitts getting involved. You know, what was your takeaway specifically on the Falcons?
I agree with all the points about the offense. Defense still underwhelming, in terms of the pass rush, which is something they've invested so much in it. 2 first-round draft picks, obviously, signing Dante Fowler. But this was an opportunity. Tampa didn't have Tristan Wirfs. They had to reshuffle their offensive line. I would have liked to see this Falcons defense get more pressure in this situation. Looked a lot like last year where they're really not able to gin up much with the 4-man rush.
Yeah, and the defense, that's why they drafted 2 guys in the first round, where they traded a future first-round pick. You would have liked to see them make a stop when it matters. I'm just taken away by how Baker is just continually there when it matters and makes the play. We talk so much about those AFC quarterbacks in Allen and Lamar and Mahomes. Of course, we talk about all these guys with Burrow as well, but like, do we put Baker in that conversation? Because whenever it matters most, it feels like Baker Mayfield's there. And last year he had the stats that they did too.
Yeah, also.
NFL's leading rusher a season ago, Christian McCaffrey. He'll move it ahead for about 3 yards. Nick Bolton, the linebacker, there for the stop. 2nd and 7. From the shotgun, it's Purdy. Pass brought in by Samuel. And he's going to be dropped after a pickup of about 5. Now a 3rd and 2. They need 2. Here's Purdy. That's caught by McCaffrey. And he'll be taken down. And that's going to do it. That's the last play of the first quarter. So a big 3rd down hookup takes us to the break. It's the Chiefs on top. We'll be back in Kansas City after this. Now a 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. So Kittle comes in motion. And a good effort there defensively. It's knocked away and incomplete.
There's a fine line between trusting your arm and having a little bit too much faith in your arm, right? I think this is one of those situations here, Mike, where there was nowhere to go with the ball. He tries to fit that one in there anyway, and he's lucky that it just falls incomplete.
Looking to set up the screen there, but he decides not to force it, and it's incomplete.
You can't fault the quarterback on this one, but he really didn't even have much of an opportunity. By the time he hit the top of his drop and got his eyes downfield, the defense was all over him, and he really had no choice but to just get that ball out of his hand and live to play another snap.
He'll be forced to just throw that one away. It's incomplete.
So defensively, there's always the initial pass coverage plan, and then when that breaks down and the quarterback goes into scramble mode, how fast can you then move on to the second phase of what they call plaster, meaning